So you can start the countdown of the watch just to be in a position to be sure that I will stay in my 12 minutes. First of all, a warm good morning to all from, let's say, unusual word for Limassol. My friend George told me that it's the first time that he came in Limassol and he needs a raincoat. Maybe it's the climate change. Okay, I will start by introducing myself. I am Ioannis Efstratiou, the Director of Environmental Protection and Safety on Shipping Deputy Ministry. My friends call me Ioannis, and I have the impression that seeing familiar faces, that I have a lot of friends in this room. I would like to thank SAFETY4SEA and Apostolos for inviting the Shipping Deputy Ministry for the 6th Limassol Forum. I was the one that I addressed on behalf of the Department of Merchant Shipping when it was the first forum. It seems that the whole event is a success. That's why now we reached the 6th in a row. I would refrain to advertise what is SAFETY4SEA, but obviously it's an excellent source of information. For example, yesterday I started my day reading an interesting article on green corridors, and I end my day with also interesting news. For example, that yard partnerships with NYK and order an ammonia fuel carrier. I will refrain to make any comments why somebody orders a ship using a fuel that actually does not exist. So this is let's say, a topic that we'll discuss on the last panel. I choose not to have a general keynote address saying how good is Shipping Deputy Ministry. We are good, but since all of you coming from the local industry, you know us very well, so I choose to have a presentation in respect of what is coming at EU and IMO level on environment and at EU level on safety. Let's take it that is an introduction for what is going to follow. So, at EU level, we start with the package 455. You can see what is in the blue, what is related with shipping. So the target of this safety package is neutral climate Europe by 2050, and an intermediate target to, let's say, to decrease total greenhouse gases emissions by 55%. That's why we call it Fit for 55 by 2030. Once again, let's say the 5 EU instruments related with shipping. I have to wear my glasses because I don't have a monitor in front of me. The extension of ETS to maritime transport. You are familiar with it since, let's say, you count your emissions during 2024. Now, please prepare your checkbooks in order, let's say, to buy your allowances. It will be happen at September this year. Fuel EU Maritime started this year by, let's say, by counting your emissions. Energy Taxation Directive is still under consideration at EU level. So actually it will impair the bunker industry. The fuel alternative fuel infrastructure regulation, it related what is important for shipping, that ports should provide by 2030 cold ironing for passenger ships and containers. And the Renewable Energy Directive, the famous RED, now we call it RED DEO, and it's related with the certification of fuels. At IMO level, we start from 2011 with the famous EETI. By 2018, we have the first strategy on reduction of greenhouse gases in fuel, followed by 2021 with the famous EXI and CII. I'm sure that everybody in this room is complaining about the implementation of CII because you discover that your ships are rating with C, D, or E, but you blame somebody else about that, for example, extensive port delays. 6 minutes. I will not make any more reference to EU ETS since for those that will attend also the afternoon session, it's a subject of the afternoon panel. We have already said that it's already in force, but it will be extended in the next 3 years, as it is on the screen over there. Fuel EU Maritime, they call it, that is a technical regulation, but it's not only a technical regulation, it's also a market-based instrument because in addition to the, let's say, to the technical requirement, there are also a provision for penalties. So for those they are not comply, they have also to pay for the cost of non-compliance. So what is the main difference? The EU ETS is considered an economic market-based measure and targets the tank-to-weight emissions of vessels. The penalty for each ton of CO2 emitted is not a fixed value, but depends on the market dynamics. And the EU fuel, the Fuel EU Maritime is a technical measures and have 3 targets: to reduce the tank, the well-to-wake greenhouse gas intensity, and to increase also the uptakes of these RFNBOs, let's say biodiesel, renewable fuel of not biological origin. So I go quick because I saw that I have only 4 minutes. Apostolos, next time you will allow me to speak a little bit longer, but I will try to stay on my time. I will go directly what is really interesting for you at IMO level. Next week, personally, I will be in London for the intersessional working group of greenhouse gases. There will be another one before MEPC 83. In MEPC 83, from 7 to 8 to 11 of April, that means less than 2 months, we have to approve the new regulation in respect for a global instrument for the reduction of greenhouse gases. And at an extraordinary session on October, we have to officially adopt the measures. What is important for the session next week is that the EU 27 member states, along with this list of, let's say, major flags and small islandic states, we have submitted a proposal to adopt a levy internationally. What I mean by levy, when you buy your fuel in accordance with their capacity to emit CO2, you have to pay. This is a levy. There will be a mechanism, there will be a fund, there will be a mechanism to distribute those funds. So the main briefly the main elements of EU and other proposals, including ICS, and this is very important that the industry is with us on this proposal, is to incentivize greenhouse gas reductions and effectively and efficiently stimulate energy efficiency, reduce the price gap between fossil fuels and zero or near zero greenhouse gas fuels, act as a to continue unupdated emissions and generate revenues to reward uptake zero or near zero fuels, technologies, energy resources, and just and equitable transition. That means nobody should left behind. I have 1 minute and a half. So, very briefly, the EU safety package, actually, the 4 of them have been adopted also by the European Parliament, but they will enter into force on 2027. So we have provisions on port state control, the directive on flag state, the ship source pollution, accident investigation, and the founding regulation of EMSA. What is new in port state control, and there are a lot of issues that are interesting for the flags, but for ship owners that the ship risk profile will change, and also what is really new, ships belonging to white flags will be banned for entering countries that belong to Paris MOU. In respect of flag state directive, digitalization issues, common training among member states, and what is important for ship owners, ship managers, and classification societies will be flag state inspections, either on a risk base or one every 5 years. So, if a country chose the risk-based tool, that means, for example, a passenger ship will have more probabilities to be inspected. For those that are out of the risk base, it will be one every 5 years. Ship source pollution penalties for discharges, and that includes also the use of scrubbers. That's all.